What is up, guys? So Sports back again with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Miami Heat and discussing whether or not they're legit contenders. So, coming into the season, I doubt a lot of people expected the Miami Heat to be as good as they are. Currently standing at 32-15, the third seed in the East. I just don't think many people envisioned that. After they signed and traded for Jimmy Butler, I think a lot of people looked at them as a borderline playoff team, a team that'll probably win around 40 to 45 games, but obviously so far they've been exceeding expectations, and that brings the question. A lot of people are wondering, can this team make a deep playoff run? Can they potentially knock off a team like the Bucks or a team like the Sixers, who I still believe is probably a good chance to make the finals? Can they knock off these top teams? And let's discuss that. So obviously, their big accusation this offseason was Jimmy Butler. You trade for him or sign and trade, blah, blah, blah. You give up Josh Richardson, and then you make a plethora of other trades to clear cap and stuff like that. So a pretty big move. And this year, he's been well. Jimmy Butler's putting up 20 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. And his play, just all around, he's been great for this team. Definite MVP candidate. He's been great all around, and they've had a great supporting cast. Bam Adebayo is their second guy, another all-star. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo were all-stars. Is just announced about 2 hours ago now, and he's really improved. 16 points, 10 rebounds, nearly 5 assists this season on 59% shooting from the field. You love to see it. He was in a video that I did. Oh my goodness, I think I did this video like in August, talking about 3 players from the what draft was he from? 2017 draft, where I thought they were going to do better. And so far, I'm 2 out of 3. I said Bam Adebayo and Jonathan Isaac. Malik Monk, he's been ass. So, I'll take the L on Malik Monk. But, yeah, he's been living up to what I've said, and it's been beautiful to watch. He's been excellent so far for the Miami Heat. Just 3 days ago, he had a triple-double against the Orlando Magic. He can play make. He can rebound. His defense is good. All it is I really want him to start taking some more threes. I think it'll help out the offense a lot, being able to space out the floor and stuff. But hey, it's working. So if it's working, it's working. And also they have a great not an overabundance, but a great group of veterans. You got guys like a Goran Dragic, Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard. All those guys who just play their part and play their part well. Especially Goran Dragic, because coming into the year, it was questionable. He was coming off an injury-riddled year. After I think he just made the All-Star game the previous season from last season, so 2 seasons ago, and he accepted a bench role, and it's been great for him, averaging nearly 16 points, 5 assists. He was shooting like lights out to begin the year, but of course percentages have dipped down, but still almost 40% from 3, and he's taking about 6 a game, 45% from the field. All in all, is doing great. He's been excellent for them. Myers Leonard, Kelly Olynyk, those guys have specific roles, stretch 4, and they're exceeding in those roles. Myers Leonard is shooting 42.6% from 3, while Kelly Olynyk, I'd had to imagine, is shooting similarly to that too. We can look here really quickly. He is shooting 40% from 3. So, you have 2 guys who can do that. And you have Duncan Robinson, who was kind of a surprise coming to the season. I don't think a lot of people knew about him. I didn't know about him either, I'm not gonna lie, but he's averaging 12 points, shooting 44% from 3. They just have a great collection of 3-point shooting and defense and leadership, and it's just all meshing well together. I didn't even get to talk about their rookies. If we want to dive deep into that, Kendrick Nunn, who was on the Warriors, I believe, G League team before he was released. The Heat signed him, and though his play has dipped down, he started off the season extremely high, but he's come down to earth just a bit. 16 points, shooting 36% from 3 and 46% from the free throw line. Definitely a candidate for Rookie of the Year, but I believe John Morant has that locked up as of now. And then the second rookie, Tyler Herro. He's been amazing. And that's another thing, the Heat have been able to find these gems while not completely tanking. Like the years, like drafting Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, those weren't years where they were actively like tanking. They were still trying to win and make the playoffs, but they had just missed it. And that just goes to show that tanking is not necessary to win. If you look at all of the top teams, we can go to the NBA standings. Let's look at the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. The Bucks, they did not actively, they did not actively tank. Giannis was the 15th overall pick. Chris Middleton, they traded for. He was a second-round pick. They're two top guys. The Raptors, Kyle Lowry was traded. I believe Kyle Lowry was either a late first-round pick or an early second-round pick. Norman Powell, I believe he was a second-round pick. Fred VanVleet was undrafted. Pascal Siakam was a mid-round pick. He was like the 16th, or actually, was he the 16th pick or was he like the 26th pick? I'm not sure, but he wasn't like a lottery pick. Serge Ibaka, I believe Serge Ibaka was a high pick, but you know, he was traded there and whatever. So, I mean, just looking at it, you know, it's Marc Gasol too. I believe he was a late first-round pick or an early second-round pick. It's, you know, you don't have to actively like tank. The Celtics may be the exception here, but you know, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker even was a high pick. Oh well, we can skip them. But the Pacers also, Victor Oladipo, though he was a high pick, the Pacers traded for him, and he wasn't expected to be as good as he was, and he hasn't even been playing this year, if we're being real. Domantas Sabonis was not a top pick. Miles Turner, I believe Miles Turner was like the 9th overall pick or something, so I guess. Malcolm Brogdon, that's a second-round pick. TJ Warren, I don't believe he was a high pick. Jeremy Lamb, I don't believe he was high. I think Jeremy Lamb was like the 13th pick, though. I'm not too sure, but, I mean, the Sixers, of course, they have to process. And then if we go to the Western Conference, the Lakers, their two top guys, they didn't draft them, even though they were top picks. They were able to sign them, but it's the Lakers. I'll let them slide. The Clippers, prime example. Kawhi Leonard was the 11th or 10th pick, I believe. I think Paul George was the 11th or 10th pick, but I think Kawhi Leonard was just picked outside of the lottery, I believe, right? Or was he picked just inside the lottery? You know what I mean. You know, those guys weren't top picks. Lou Will was not a top pick. Pat Bev, he was on the Heat, and then he got cut, and then he went to the Lakers, and then he got cut, and then he went to the, you know, he's been bouncing around. Montrezl Harrell also. All these guys on these teams were scraps. You know, Pat Bev, he was a scrap. Montrezl Harrell was a scraps. You know, and they've turned into quality role player. I don't even want to call Montrezl a role player because he's actually been great. Same thing with, but they've been quality players at that. Excuse me. Again with the Heat. You know, Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn. These guys, I don't want to say they were scraps, but teams kind of just threw them away. I mean, well, with Kelly Olynyk, the Heat did sign him to a kind of big contract, but still, you get my, you know, the Myers Leonard, he was kind of thrown away by the Trailblazers. Kendrick Nunn was on the Warriors team, and they released him. You get the idea. So you don't have to actively tank to be a great team. But back to the Heat, though. I mean, they've just made this great culture and this great system. It's beautiful to watch. It is. And we didn't even get to really talk about Tyler Hero like that. But like I said, 13th overall pick. He's averaging 13 points this year, shooting 39% from three, essentially. And he's been extremely clutch for them. He's been great for them. It's just beautiful to watch. I just love this Heat team. But now let's get into the question. Are they legit contenders? So when I'm looking at their team, I believe they have everything that a contender has. You have your go-to scorer, your go-to guy in the clutch, and a Jimmy Butler. You have your surrounding pieces alongside him then. You have your Bam Adebayo, your Goran Dragic, your Kendrick Nunn, your Tyler Hero, your Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard, your Duncan Robinson. You know, even guys like James Johnson and Deion Waiters can give you some minutes. You have all these guys, and then you have a top-of-the-line coach. I believe Eric Spoelstra is the top 3 coach. It's probably this year between him and then Mike Budenholzer, and then third, Frank Vogel. But Frank Vogel has an excellent team, so I don't even know if you want to count him. We'll just say Frank Vogel for the heck of it, whatever. He's an excellent coach. He's been able to take what he has and implement a system that is successful towards the players that he has and win with it. We saw him how he was with Dwayne Wade before the Big Three era, though they were kind of trashing sometimes, but you know, Wade was injured and stuff. And then the Big Three came, he was able to adapt the system and change the system to be great. And then after LeBron James left, he was able to change the system again, and the Heat were successful after LeBron James left. I believe in 2016 was the year that they were one win away from making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then Dwayne Wade, he went to Chicago, and then Chris Bosh had to retire due to health issues, and then he was still successful with Deion Waiters, and then D Wade came back. He's just been constantly successful, you know. Even if he doesn't make the playoffs, they're always just on the brink, you know, and that's what I love most. They're not a team, they're a team that always goes out and they're trying to win. That's what I love most about them. But back to the question at hand. Are they legit contenders? Now, Like I said, they have their closer. You have your excellent coach who can adapt. You have your go-to guys. Do I believe this Heat team is actual contenders? Can they give the Bucks team potentially a run for their money? Can they give the Raptors a run for their money? Personally, I just don't really think so. I'm sorry. I know this is gonna upset a lot of Heat fans. I just personally don't think so. I don't think they have enough firepower, so to say. I don't want to say the cliche, but you know, playoff experience is key. You know, and these young guys, even I don't even want to say that, because we've seen like the Celtics when Kyrie Irving, I think 2018, when Kyrie Irving went down, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum did step up, and Jason Tatum was in his rookie year. He played well in that playoffs. Terry Rozier played well. You had a lot of young guys playing well. But now that I'm thinking about it, though, I kind of do take it back. Actually, no. Because the East, I believe, is a lot tougher than it was in 2018. I mean, you have the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, the Pacers, the Sixers. If you're looking at it now, the Heat are going to have to play the Sixers in round one. And I mean, the Sixers have had their issues, but this team is, I believe they'll be able to figure it out before the playoff time. They're going to be excellent. You're going to be playing the same team for a maximum of 7 games, for a minimum of 4 games in a row. They're going to adjust, so it'll be difficult. And if seeding stays exactly how it is right now, which it probably won't, or probably will, I don't know. If it stays exactly how it is right now, the Heat would face the Sixers, and if they win, they would face either the Raptors or the Magic. Let's just say, for the sake of it, they'll face the Raptors. Okay. And if they win again, they'll face the Bucks. And if they win again, somehow, some way, they'll face the Lakers. Do you guys see them completing that juggernaut of... I don't think so. Do you think they're going to beat a team who a lot of people look as was going to represent the Eastern Conference, you know, come finals time, in the 76ers? Do you think they're then going to go ahead and beat the defending champions? Do you think they're then going to go ahead and beat the best team in the league? Do you think they're then going to go ahead and beat a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? I don't see it. I really do not see it. I think this team can definitely make it to the second round. But when you're going against the Raptors are an excellent team. You have Pascal, who has really taken a step forward this year. Kyle Lowry. You have Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol. They have all these guys playing well, and then you have those other guys who are impactful in the roles that they play, in a Chris Boucher, in a Matt Thomas, in a Terrence Davis. So the Raptors have a collection of great guys with Nick Nurse, who's able to adjust and who's an excellent coach. I don't think they'll be able to beat that team. And then the Sixers, again, with Ben Simmons and Josh Richardson and Tobias and Al Horford and Joel Embiid, and off the bench you got Matisse Thybulle, who is great defensively. Furkan Korkmaz, when he's on, he's on. You know, I just don't think they'll be able to beat these teams, and that's okay. That is okay, because coming to the season, there weren't many expectations for you anyways. So being this great and making it to the second round, I believe, is a W in my books. That's a great season. And then you're going to be going into next offseason, not this next offseason. James Johnson's contract is coming off the books. Deion Waiters' contract is coming off the books. Goran Dragic, you can sign him to another 1-year deal this year. Myers Leonard, Kelly Olynyk, all those guys' contracts will be coming off the... I didn't even talk about Justice Winslow, because he's always injured, and his impact, I just don't feel like it's needed. So you can potentially trade him or decline his team option. You're going to be set up well for 2021 when Giannis potentially, we already talked about him in the preview, potentially is a free agent. When Kawhi is a free agent, potentially. When Paul George is potentially a free agent. When LeBron James, I believe, will be a free agent in 2021, though I think he'll come back. When Victor Oladipo is a free agent. You could sign with these 5 guys and then turn into title contenders. Imagine a team, let's just say, okay, the top 4, I don't know, you know, Kawhi, PG, they love LA. I think they'll stay. Giannis, I think he'll return. He's stupid to turn down the money that the Bucks will be able to offer him. LeBron, he'll return. Okay, so now you have Victor Oladipo. You're able to sign him. Imagine a starting lineup of Kendrick Nunn, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, and then you can have a stretch for Duncan Robinson or Kelly Olynyk if you want to bring him back, and then Bam at the 5. That's excellent. And I don't know if that's a title. That's definitely, I feel like that's title contender worthy. With Eric Spoelstra as a coach, I think so. Or you could trade for a Bradley Beal Or actually, is Bradley Beal? I think his contract is up in 2022. You could wait till then, but I don't know if I want to do all that. But they're excellent right now. They're set up great for the future. The Miami Heat have big things ahead. Pat Riley has already said he's going to be aggressive, so I think they're going to do big things. But I just don't feel they can make a deep playoff push this year. If I'm going to predict, I think they're going to make it to the second round and lose probably in 6 or 7 to either the Raptors or the Celtics, whatever team they play. I don't know. They could, I would not be surprised if they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but just personally, I don't feel like they will this year. It's not a knock on them. That's just my prediction. So don't take it seriously. It's just what I believe. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please like and sub and share with your friends. And it's So Sports, and I'm out. Peace.